Hello, good evening, and welcome to Autogig TV. My name is Olayenwaju Adeshokon. Welcome to another exciting episode of 60 Minutes with the Professionals. Today, we are going to be talking about the Nigerian automotive industry, and I'm also in the studio with Chokwe Bukola Ojo. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, viewers.
How's been your week, sir?
Great.
All right, we'll be discussing the Nigerian automotive industry today. You can also join us on all our social media platforms, which is www.facebook.com/autogigng. On Instagram is at autogigng. On Twitter is at autogig. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at autogig TV. All right, today, sir, we, like I already said before, we are going to be discussing about the Nigerian automotive industry.
Okay.
To you, what does the Nigerian automotive industry mean, and how do you see it?
Wow. Well, I see the Nigerian automotive industry like a young man, a fully able-bodied young man that still working like a 5-year-old boy, because the industry is full of opportunities, full of a lot of strengths that can actually transform the economy of this country. If you look at the National Industrial Revolution Plan, at the heart of it is the Nigerian automotive policy. And, every developed economy, at the heart of it, you see a very vibrant automotive industry.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like I said, Nigeria automotive industry is still very far from where it's supposed to be. We live like a typical consumer as far as our industry is concerned in Nigeria. So we are not really playing in it at the moment.
All right, thank you very much, sir. The Nigerian automotive industry is looking at producing 4 million cars annually by 2050. How possible is this?
Well, it's very possible, but like I said the other time, we are still very far from where we're supposed to be. It can be on the paper at the moment, but we have to be deliberate about what we want to do. If you're not deliberate about it, then it's not going to happen. I've been following the Nigeria automotive policy since 2012, and for the first few years, it was followed with the timeline, and we were making progress. But ordinarily, all the assembly plants we have in Nigeria now are supposed to have shifted to completely knocked down assembly plant from a semi knockdown since 2017 until now. They are still doing semi knockdown. This when you are skipping your timeline, where you are not hitting your milestone at the appropriate time, then it's going to tell on your end point. You understand? So 4 million cars in 2050, fine, good, it is possible, but we have to be deliberate about it.
Keyword deliberate.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we also looking at producing autonomous or electric vehicles, or what do we expect?
Yeah, that's another thing we need to talk about, because in the industry, most of the plans we are following up with are plans that were developed long time ago. I think that there should be an improvement based on what is happening globally. If you look at most European countries, by 2030, most roads in Europe will have autonomous and electric vehicles moving. There are some automobile companies that by 2021, more than 50% of the vehicles they will be producing, some up to 80% of the vehicles they will be producing, are going to be either hybrid or fully electric vehicles. Yeah. So, and that tells a lot about what will be happening. We also need to understand that as it is now, how many local manufacturers do we have in Nigeria? Yeah. Probably maybe talk about just one or two.
Strong one.
Yes. But the other ones are still European and American manufacturers that have come to, probably maybe through their partnership with their representatives over here, set up an assembly plant, and the kind of vehicle they will be producing are the same vehicles that the manufacturers are producing from their home countries. So Yeah, we'll be producing autonomous vehicles, electric vehicles. Autonomous, well, that's still that will be dependent on a lot of infrastructures. We know with our kind of road,
Roads.
you can't do driverless cars with our kind of the road and the kind of vehicles we have on the road at the moment. So we should understand that yes, there will be capacity for those assembly plants to be able to do autonomous and electric vehicles. The question is, will our uh, uh, infrastructures be ready to accommodate it as at that time? And at the same time, we also need to understand that we are not patenting anything in Nigeria. We are late to the game as far as the industry is concerned. So
What you're
we,
trying to say is like we're quite backwards.
exactly. But you know, we can still start now. You understand? We can still, everything has to do with being deliberate about our approach to this thing.
Okay, so I'll pick it up from the electric cars. Do you think Nigerian power system can accommodate electric cars for now?
Yeah, that is part of the things I talked about. There are different solutions for different countries depending on the kind of problem they have. So we have to look at our industry and see um, our economy and see how we can adapt. For instance, now we AutoGig just partnered with a department in Ladoke Akintola University of Technology that's have been working on an electric mobility, and I think the previous project they did was running on batteries. You understand? So now they want to have uh, a combination of solar-driven and solar powered vehicles. You understand, which will still be a kind of EV, an electric vehicle. So we are hoping that we will be able to come up with something very fantastic. You understand, in that area. So
Okay, looking at the plans that the automotive industry have, like producing 4 million cars um, annually by 2050, do you think Nigerian automotive industry is ripe to produce their own or manufacture their own cars? Do you think we're ripe for it?
well, as an entrepreneur, what I look at in a market is that do we have do we have the market for it? When there is a market, then it's just for you to prepare to meet the market. You understand? Nigeria is actually the highest consumer of automotive products in the whole Africa so today because of our population. So we should understand that the market is there. Then if we are really serious about what we are doing, yeah, we can actually get there.
Okay. By saying that, is it possible to get people subscribed to these, like buy these vehicles, considering the fact that they opt out for imported vehicles?
Yes, that's where the competition comes in. If we have local manufacturers has to convince us that the vehicles they are manufacturing, they can compete very well with what we are importing. And at the same time, we should also understand that people appetite are, already acclimatized to vehicles coming from Europe and America. And you should also try and be patriotic buying made in Nigeria. You understand? That is the best way we can grow this area.
Okay, if we are going to say we need to start buying made in Nigerian products, starting from our automotive industry, how do they convince me that this vehicle that I'm buying won't just pack up in the next 2 3 months, unlike the imported ones?
Well, sincerely, I've been driving around. I've been seeing a lot of innocent vehicles around. I've not seen anyone parked up on the road. You understand?
Why I'm saying that is because
Actually,
the fear of
yeah, but
using
see,
Nigerian
and
products.
that's what we should also look at for the military to be using their products, it also says a lot about the durability of what they are producing. And we should try and have some trust in what we are producing over here also. So in light of that, I would just encourage people, even the vehicles are assembled locally here. And I was talking about the semi knockdown and completely knockdown uh, automobile assembly the other time. I- If you do a semi knockdown, that means almost all the spare parts on the vehicles are imported, but they are imported in pieces. You just assemble them back when they get here. The completely knockdown means that, okay, an average vehicle has a total of about 2,000 spare parts on it. The manufacturer manufactures about just 30%. The remaining 70% goes to the component suppliers. And so when you look at this value chain and you see that by the time we move to completely knockdown, 70% of the spare parts on the vehicle has to be manufactured locally. That tells you that people that makes adhesives, people that makes bolts, and there are so many things that can be done in that industry.
Very well said. Very well said. So, looking at the rate of unemployment in Nigeria at the moment, what are the opportunities in the automotive industry for people? For people actually, what are the opportunities?
Well, the opportunity is so enormous. I spoke the other time about uh, how automotive industry is at the heart of every developed economy in the world. You understand? So if you look at it very well, in an assembly plant, a job in an assembly plant creates three other jobs in the component supply. And each of those three jobs in component supply produces another seven jobs in the raw material supply. Now we are not talking about the sales and marketing. We are not talking about the after sales, the people that maintains the vehicles and all that. So it tells you the capacity. The industry actually has a capacity to to take care of about 10% of the employment need in Nigeria and contribute as much as 10% of the GDP.
Okay, so for people trying to change career line into the automotive industry, um, is it possible for them to switch their career line, and is the industry also willing to accommodate them?
Well, yeah, is the industry willing? We should understand that there are uh, now there are some things that you have never heard that could happen in a vehicle before. You understand? Now you see them in a vehicle. There is a company in Europe that manufactures a vehicle, and what they are using is that part of this paper they are using, they are made from used tires. Talk of any industry, chemistry, computer science, computer engineering, electrical electronics, mechanical engineering, you know, we have artificial intelligence is what is driving autonomous vehicle industry. So we should understand that there are so many fields that people can function. It's all about the kind of solution you are bringing. Now, for people that are not in the industry, it's easier for them to switch. And that's part of the things we are doing now at Autogig Academy. When people come for our training, we don't only expose them to the technical part, we even have some tailored made trainings that are not limited to the technical trainings. They are just non-technical trainings. We expose you to the value chain of the automotive spare parts, even from the manufacturing to the distribution to retail sales and all that. We expose you to that and some other areas, even the IT part of it. You understand? So, because now in Nigeria, when your brain box is bad, people people condemn it, buy another one. And we have electrical electronic gateways. That's supposed to sit down with the brain box, look at the ICs and the transistors and everything inside the brain box, and should be able to fix it. You understand? So these are the kind of training we are giving to our students in Auto Gig Academy, so that they can we can fit in into the industry perfectly. There are so many untapped areas in the industry. I can, from my personal assessments, we are still performing less than 40% of what we should be doing in the industry.
Okay, so something crossed my mind while we were discussing, and I remember a news making rounds the other time about a Nigerian student that he built a sports car, you know, and the next thing I will hear is that a big car brand abroad invited him over. They're like, they bought him already. What is the automotive industry doing about this young talent? What are they doing about them? Why are we? For me, I feel like we're losing them to the international bodies. So what can be done about this?
Well, I think it's a general problem now that entrepreneurs are facing in Nigeria. If you are in the fintech sector or an IT sector, you easily get you get fundings for your projects than, let's say, you are in the automotive industry or some other form of industry that the return on investments will not come in as fast as the fintech. You can start the fintech at the beginning of the year and you get funding immediately, and by the end of the year, you're already getting your traction. You understand? But for the first year, for an automotive company, you can even still be using that first year to plan and to see how you can set up and map your supply chain generally. So, the challenge is that there are no fundings for people that really want to do something in this area. And I will encourage corporate organizations, and that's why we have gone into partnership with Lautech, even on as regards Automotive Academy. We also have partnership with them, with the Center for Emerging Skills Technology in Lautech. That's why we are doing that. Organizations need to get involved in what is going on in higher institution. A Nigeria entrepreneur once told the lecturers that the problem the industry have with the lecturers in Nigeria is that we cannot see them, because we need to know what they are doing, the kind of solutions they are offering that we can bring into the industry. And I look at it very well. Some of the lecturers, I'm sorry to say, they don't have the entrepreneurial skills to understand how this solution can fit into the system. And probably maybe some of them are working on a solution that is over 10 years.
Wow.
Now, we are talking about solutions that we can work on immediately. So there should be relationship, symbiotic one, between industries and the academies.
All right, sir. So where do you see the automotive industry in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, everything still boils down to what we have decided to do. You understand? And how deliberate we are about that industry. We are trying to lead a revolution in the industry.
I hope
I
it's a
know,
peaceful revolution.
yeah, it's a peaceful revolution, but that's why, if you look at our operations in the automotive industry, we are actually covering a kind of mile that has not been covered before. That's why we started Autogeek TV, so that people can be informed about what can be done in the industry, the opportunities that we have there. I can say we're practically the only independent automotive academy that uses the latest technology in form of 3D animation and simulations to train people on how to fix cars and co like that. Because when the competition is global, the preparation has to be. When the competition is global, the preparation cannot be local. So, we have to prepare our participants, our students, to be able to fit in. And we have gotten a couple of them that after their training, they find themselves in Canada, in America, and they fit into the industry effectively.
That's beautiful. So there's this question I would really want us to address. Like, it's really something that is happening, and why do people run away from using automobile dealership? They prefer using roadside mechanics than using automotive dealership. And what are the challenges you face?
And well, um, the truth is, it's not everybody that can afford a standard dealership. You can't expect somebody that buys a 2002 Toyota Camry to say he wants to go and service it in Elizade or Toyota Nigeria. The truth is that the cost, the service charge, and everything, by the time you factor it in, if you look at it in percentage as against the cost of acquisition of the vehicle. You understand? But the truth is, when you go to a standard dealership, that's where you have access to OEM parts with warranty. Your repairs has warranty, and you can be sure, you can be confident of what is being done on the vehicle. And we have trust issues around here too. You understand? It's one of the key problem in the industry. You
Trust
understand?
issues.
Trust issues. So we have a lot of roadside mechanics that are very good. They know what they are doing. A lot of them have issues with funding. They cannot scale appropriately. If they also have access to funding, low interest funding that they can scale appropriately, they can compete with a standard dealership. But they can't scale because they have not gotten that money. And another question is that we are not ready yet. I'm talking about vehicle owners now. We are not ready yet to pay the appropriate rate that this guy is supposed to be earning. You understand? So if you go to America and your car breaks down, you know how much a technician will charge you. But yeah, it's ridiculous to hear that people still service their vehicle and all you pay your technician is 500 naira as labor. That is ridiculous. You will get 500 naira service. Yes, it's as simple as that. So,
Oh.
we have to get to a point where we should learn to appreciate
The
and place
technicians.
value on these technicians also. So, but we still have some other people that are not well trained in that industry that uh, they are they can easily fit into the roadside definition, because despite the fact that they have some bodies like Nata and Co, some of them still find a way into that industry. They have education, they are not exposed to latest technology, and they will tell you that they don't know how to fix those kind of vehicles. So bulk of the vehicles we fix, apart from our main customers, most of the solutions we provide in Autogig is that people bring cars that have been bastardized here and there to us. We help them to restore it back to the manufacturer
Standard.
standard. Then we now identify what the problem was before they start passing those wires and all sorts before we fix the vehicle. So to avoid this, most of the time for customers, it's being penny wise, pounds foolish. If you know that you are driving a recent vehicle and you are not sure that your technician can handle it, take it to a proper uh, workshop,
Workshop.
yeah, for it to be fixed.
All right, you heard it right. You have to take your vehicle to a proper workshop for proper checkup. Okay, so what advice will you give to people in the automotive industry and the people willing to join? What advice will you give them as at the present situation of the Nigerian automotive industry right now?
Well, let me just talk about the global economy generally. What we need to understand is that there are some industry that even during recession, there are little impact on them because people need to move around. Maybe initially used to be every business around oil and gas because uh, almost all economy are living on oil and gas. You understand? It drives the global economy. Now we are shifting uh, from fossil fuels to renewable energies and things like that. But who are the major consumers for all these energies? Automotive industry is one of the biggest. You understand? So when you do business around businesses that uh, they can, for instance, we talk about food, people have to eat. You understand? You can't do business in the food industry, and when there are issues like this, you will not find a way around it. So I will encourage people. It's an industry that, like I told you, I can still regard Nigerian automotive industry as an untapped industry right now. We are doing very, very little, very, very, very little at the moment. So, and the advantage is that you can, if you are if you are an HR generalist where you work, you have a place in the automotive industry. If you are a chemist, you have a place in the automotive industry. If you are a programmer, you have a place in the automotive industry. So we just need to sit down and look at what kind of solutions can we bring around, what part of the industry has not been explored that we need to leverage on. So that's what I would just advise people, and people that wants to grow in the industry. Just look at the competition is a bit fierce at the moment because everybody are justly for the available customers that can patronize the standard dealership. Now, what you need to do is to ensure that what is missing in the industry, integrity, is your watchword. You understand? If you can give people value and they believe in in what you're giving them and they trust you, then you continue to get referrals and new customers.
You heard it right. Integrity says it all. You have to add value to the products people are bringing to you, and also you have to also be deliberate. Words from TBO in the studios this evening. Don't also forget that I'm particularly looking forward to 2050. That's 30 years from now. I'm particularly looking forward to it, and I think I'll be maybe 60 or 59 by then. Or, well, I'm looking forward to that. That's 2050, to see what the Nigerian automotive industry is going to go about with producing 4 million cars annually. TBO, I pray that we will be alive then to to witness this day. So. All right, on that note, too, we have come to the end of the program today. It has been an amazing one so far, and I hope you have been able to get one or two informations from what we have been discussing so far. And don't forget that you can also join us on on all our social media platforms, which is www.facebook.com/AutoGigNG. On Twitter is at AutoGig. On Instagram is at AutoGigNG. Don't forget that you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is AutoGig TV. Until next time, bye for now.